Welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. The nation's last unbeaten team puts their perfect record on the line as the San Diego State Aztecs play host to the New Mexico Lobos here at the Viejas Arena in San Diego. We take a look at the AP Top 10, and for the fourth straight week, the Aztecs are number 4 in the nation behind Baylor, Gonzaga, and Kansas. Good evening, everybody. Alongside Richie Schuler, I'm Eric Rothman. Happy to be here with you. And a win tonight, Richie, would at least give San Diego State a share of the Mountain West crown, and a big reason why this season, Malachi Flynn.
Yeah, late night fans are in for a treat tonight. Malachi Flynn has been outstanding all year long. The National Player of the Year candidate, a Wooden Award finalist, the Bob Cousy Best Point Guard of the Year award finalist as well. He's great in transition. Great in the ball screen situations. He just has that rare combination of being able to score the basketball and make plays for his teammates. An incredible score, a great playmaker, and almost a 3.5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio.
Aztecs are 24-0, and I mentioned if they win tonight, at least a share of the Mountain West title in the regular season. And we were also watching the game going on in Colorado State right now. Utah State taking on Colorado State. And if Utah State wins that game and San Diego State wins here tonight, the Aztecs would be the outright Mountain West regular season champs. They're taking on the Lobos, who are 17-8 this season. They have struggled away from home. In New Mexico, they're 14-1. On the road in pure away games, they are 2-6. They are wearing their red uniforms on the road here in a sold-out Viejas Arena. San Diego State in their white uniforms. And really, 2 months ago, Richie, we could have looked at this game and said, well, maybe this could be for the Mountain West title. These are two really good teams, but with how it's gone for New Mexico, it's been a pretty bumpy ride.
There has been a lot of bumps in the road for New Mexico. They've had a hard time keeping their roster intact. They've missed a couple starters for the season. And then Jaquan Lyle and also Vance Jackson, two guys that are important to this team, missed 4 games at the same time, where this club hit 1-3, and that's just over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
McWatch Malawatch hit the three-pointer to start things off for the Lobos, and now Yanni Wetzel to the free throw line for San Diego State. You mentioned losing 2 of their big players, Carlton Bragg and J.J. Caldwell for New Mexico, 2 players that were stars for this Lobos squad, suspended and ultimately kicked off the team for various off-the-court issues. And so really Coach Weir has had to scramble and put together this squad as the season has gone on. And going up against a team in San Diego State, these 2 teams met just a couple weeks ago in Albuquerque when the Aztecs won 85-57 in a game that New Mexico never led. But you mentioned 2 guys in Jaquan Lyle and Vance Jackson who did not play in that game. Wetzel from the free throw line gets the first point for the Aztecs, a team that on defense holds their opponents to 58 points per game. They are stingy defensively. They give up 2 offensive rebounds there. Not something we're accustomed to seeing, but the Lobos can't convert. Malachi Flynn in transition. We welcome in a new audience on ESPN2, Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive here in San Diego, California. Eric Rothman and Richie Schuler here with you at the Viejas Arena, the nation's last unbeaten team, the San Diego State Aztecs, number 4 in the nation, 24-0 on the season, taking on New Mexico, 3-3 here in the early going. And Richie, it has been an impressive season to say the least for this Aztec squad, and a big reason why is how good they are defensively.
One of the best teams in the country defensively. You know what? They're top 10 in the nation in multiple offensive and defensive categories. The new NCAA evaluation tool that's been around for about a year and a half now, their net ranking is number 1 in the entire NCAA. San Diego State, right now, by Joe Lunardi's estimation, is a number 1 seed in the East region of the NCAA tournament thus far this year.
Jordan Shackle misses the corner 3. It's an early 5-3 lead for the Lobos. A win here tonight for the Aztecs would at least guarantee a share of the regular season Mountain West crown. And if San Diego State wins and Utah State beats Colorado State in a game that's going on right now, San Diego State would be the outright Mountain West regular season champs as they get out in transition, and Matt Mitchell lays it in for San Diego State.
Well, this is what New Mexico has to do. They have to stop San Diego State in transition. They will take it to you. And look on the floor right now. New Mexico across the board is bigger in just about every position. They've got to use their size and also the speed they have with the guys they have on the floor to have an advantage on the board, something San Diego State has dominated teams at this year.
Second three-pointer already for the Lobos. This time Zane Martin, the redshirt junior from Philadelphia. In the last 5 games is averaging 18 points per game. That's over 7 points above his season average.
The San Diego State team does a great job, so they're so good defensively of controlling the pace of the game. Now, you can't throw turnovers like that because New Mexico will certainly take advantage.
Oh my goodness, Corey Manigault from the heavens.
And that is a fantastic start by New Mexico. Corey Manigault, 6'9", 230 pounds. And since the removal of Carlton Bragg, his minutes have gone up. See how good he is at running the floor. He gets the deflection, passes it out. Or actually, it's gathered up by Vance Jackson, but given back to him. Let's see, is there some extracurriculars?
Yeah, Manigault got teed up after the dunk for taunting. So Manigault's bucket counts, but a technical foul is set to him. And so Malachi Flynn, an 83% free throw shooter at the line for the Aztecs, and he misses. And so far, this is not what we've been accustomed to seeing from the Aztecs. The turnover, we see them give up offensive rebounds, and now Malachi Flynn misses the throw.
Malachi Flynn, 90% of those free throws over the last 7 attempts. This right here is a great run. You're up 10-5 to New Mexico, now 10-6. You know Coach Paul Weir is not happy. Momentum on your side. Great offense.
They stay 4th week below that they're number 4 and as Richie mentioned, number 1 in the rankings, a long 3 from Cajun Bacon, right transfer from experienced team led by Bacon, Yanni Wendell, finalist for justice. Also a finalist for National Player of the Year as well.
One thing I really like about this New Mexico squad is there's been teams this year they have played up and down, press you all game, try to stick with their defense to become offense. And at times they play slow due to their personnel. They play different styles. San Diego State needs to be worried about that.
They're inside, but tackle goes out of bounds on rebound. They stay with San Diego State head coach Brian Dutcher. What a job he's done his 3rd season at the helm for the Aztecs. Took over for Steve Fisher after serving as an assistant for 18 years, and associate head coach as well, parts of that time. A seamless transition. The last undefeated team in the nation as Malachi Flynn misses the 3. San Diego State now 0 for 4 from distance here in the opening 4 minutes.
When you think of Brian Dutcher, immediately you think about Steve Fisher. Great steal here.
Malachi Flynn, the pull-up 3.
Brian Dutcher on the bench for every single one of Coach Steve Fisher's wins at both Michigan and here at San Diego State. What a legacy he left behind here in Aztec land.
Vance Jackson coughed it up. Another turnover on the Lobos, and Jordan Shackle is swatted from behind. Good hustle play by Malawatch. Sends it out of bounds in our first timeout of the game.
Well, an exciting start for New Mexico. The dunk by Corey Manigault. All the momentum going their way early to San Diego State. Starting to play some defense and crawl their way back into it.
Wilder vs. Fury 2 is live on Spectrum Pay-Per-View. Go online or call now to order.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Get slam dunk savings today. Visit progressive.com. And in part by DiGiorno. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. About a week and a half ago, Kawhi Leonard's jersey raised to the rafters of the Viejas Arena. Number 15 retired here. And what a career he had at San Diego State. Just a couple years, 14 points per game. And has gone on to become a two-time NBA champion and finals MVP. First jersey retired in this particular building for the Aztecs, and it was really cool to see the entire Clippers team come for that ceremony.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, how about that? The entire team, the coaches, the players, the support staff, and hey, Kawhi Leonard knows something about winning in this building. He went to the Sweet 16 as a sophomore and only played 2 years here, but in that second year, they went on a 20-game win streak to start the year and ended up going to the Sweet 16 in that season. And San Diego State trying to make it a little bit better this year.
Defensive misstep for the Lobos. They left Yanni Wetzel wide open on the inbound. He drives baseline as San Diego State, whose offense hasn't been going well, just 3 of 11 to start, pick up in three-quarter court on the defensive end.
I like it. You got to change it up. And Coach Coach Brian Dutcher.
Right.
We just talked about Coach Fisher. Coach Dutcher likes to do that kind of stuff at a timeout, to throw the opposing team off their rhythm. They're 0 of 5 from 3, so now they got to win with their defense and help that become good offense on the other end.
Senegal lost it off of his shoe. 5 to shoot for New Mexico. 3 on the shot clock now. Jaquan Lyle from the parking lot, and a shot clock violation for him.
I honestly don't know what he's thinking there. There's 2 seconds left on the shot clock. 1-2 more dribbles can get you a three-pointer from the normal line. But look at Wetzel right here. Just splits the defense off the inbounds. Nobody guarding him. No help side rotation. And it's just an easy slam home. I feel like New Mexico has been a little bit careless with the basketball, ball handling and shooting.
3 turnovers already for San Diego State as Matt Mitchell, who has started the last 11 games for the Aztec in place of Nathan Mensah, who has been out with a respiratory illness. And that's a big piece to this Aztecs puzzle that they expect to have back when it comes to the NCAA tournament. Mensah, a center, 6'10", who averaged 7.7 rebounds in 13 games before going out with that illness. As Manigault misses the fadeaway, a foul on the floor on the loose ball against the Aztecs' Matt Mitchell. But if and when, Richie, the Aztecs get back Nathan Mensah, that is an added dimension as a rim protector and shot blocker on that front line.
That's it right there. I mean, if you're going up against a team in the NCAA tournament from the Big Ten and the Big 12 or the ACC, and I could go on, that has a lot of size, well, they've got Nathan Mensah hopefully ready to play by then. This is a guy who's 6'10". You mentioned how good of a rim protector he is. It's almost 2 blocks a game in just his sophomore year. He has a wingspan of 7'4". You put him on the floor with their other big man, Wetzel, Yanni Wetzel, number 5, and you have yourself a terrific front line with a lot of size. And that could do a lot of damage in the NCAA tournament.
Back-to-back fouls on the Aztecs. The first was on Mitchell. This time it's on KJ Fagan for the trip. It's been about 3 minutes since the last time the Lobos scored. You see the Mensah highlights and stats right there.
It's a shame that he has the respiratory issues. And he's seen multiple specialists. He's waiting to get cleared. They clear him for contact so he can start practicing, but he got so much better from his freshman year to his sophomore year. Stronger, faster, chases offensive rebounds, and became an offensive threat.
Backdoor cut of the baseline, a missed dunk for Vontae Hendricks. A reset for the Lobos after they pick up the loose ball. 5 on the shot clock, and hot potato, Jaquan Lyle can't handle it. And now a double dribble. Late whistle came in from referee Mike Reed, but it was the right call.
New Mexico, they've been sloppy with the basketball. They haven't taken good care of it. They've thrown some turnovers. They've had their pocket picked. 4 turnovers right now, and I feel like all of them could have been avoided with maybe a shot fake or a pass fake or just better ball control overall, bobbling it around and whatnot.
They get some stickum on their hands.
Isn't that illegal nowadays?
I won't tell anybody. A guac a rope into the game for the Aztecs as Wetzel got double teamed. Good trap by the Lobos. Turnover, Jaquan Lyle running the point. And they give it right back. An offensive foul on Corey Manigault.
New Mexico, when they were without both Lyle and Jackson, were slowing it down. Now you're seeing them speed it up, and it looks like they're a bit uncomfortable. They've only had those 2 guys back for 1 game. That was the beatdown against Wyoming they had over the weekend. But Corey Manigault just a little bit out of control. The ball was placed in a spot where he had nowhere else to go, and that's a player control foul going the other way.
Oh, Weird, his 3rd season with New Mexico. So long-time assistant at New Mexico State, and then took over as the head coach at that program before moving down the road to Albuquerque. And a guy who has 3 master's degrees and a PhD. It's a PhD in educational leadership. Dr. Paul Weir to you, Richie Schuler.
I just like it. He is a great teacher now. He's an excellent teacher. I like how he is with his instruction to his team, his communication.
A rope lost the basketball in a held ball possession arrow in favor of the Aztecs. Richie, neither of these teams can hold on to the basketball.
It has been a bit sloppy back and forth, and usually that's what happens in the beginning of the game. But now they're towards the middle of the first half. By now you should have a little bit of a flow, and both teams trying to control the pace of the game. San Diego State's trying to keep New Mexico in front. That's something they have to do because the Lobos like to drive downhill, and they certainly can't let New Mexico get hot from the three-point line because they can be deadly then.
A rope missing the turnaround, fighting for his own rebound. He got it. Second effort not there. I mentioned Nathan Mensah, his brother Joel, into the basketball game now for San Diego State, along with Adam Seiko and Trey Pulliam. They join the rope and Malachi Flynn on the defensive end, giving all kinds of trouble to this Lobos offense as Vance Jackson had it swiped away and out of bounds. New Mexico, 5 turnovers in the last 4 minutes and change, and they haven't scored in that time either.
It's going to be important that New Mexico takes efficient shots. I like how they're trying to push the basketball in transition, but their open looks have to be open. They can't be contested. What San Diego State will do is they'll try to keep you in front for 30 seconds, and that's just a breakdown by San Diego State you rarely see. They're usually very good at extending defensive plays for them because they keep players in front. They contest outside shots at the end of the shot clock, and they get the rebound and go the other way.
Watch Malawach to the lay-in on the broken defensive play. It's 49th start in a row for Malawach, one of the steady presences on this New Mexico Lobos team who has struggled to find steady presence in their lineup throughout the course of this season. As a held ball, Malawach a rope fighting for it. Neither one wants to give up even after the whistle blows. We've already had one technical in this game assessed to Corey Manigault for New Mexico. It might be on the verge of another one.
I mean, there's a lot of emotions here. I mean, it's Malawach and a rope going hand in hand, and once that whistle's blown, let go of the basketball. Then it just becomes about manhood. You're trying to test each other's manhood. Who's the tougher player? There's just no reason for that right now, but I understand why New Mexico's frustrated. They started the season 15-3. Right now, they're 17-8.
Big reason why. You talked about it earlier, just mentioning their issues keeping guys in the lineup. They lost Carlton Bragg and J.J. Caldwell suspended and then kicked off the team, as well as some injuries for some other guys as Pulliam pulls up for 3. Injuries to Vance Jackson, a suspension and injury to Jaquan Lyle. And San Diego State turns it over yet again. Neither of these two teams on offense can get anything going. It's a slim 2-point lead for the New Mexico Lobos on the road here in San Diego.
Oh, excuse me. Do you know if you were a T-Mobile customer, you could have a free taco?
So you want me to pick my service based on free tacos? Seems wrong.
Taco. Drop the S there. It's just the one. Well, I can also give you our lowest price if you get a whole bunch of lines.
Seems wrong too.
You know what they say, 2 wrongs make a right.
Yeah, that's not how it goes.
Is it 3 wrongs? Because I can do more wrongs. 3 wrongs make a right.
T-Mobile is selling it.
Did you want the free socks?
Don't buy it. For service with no gimmicks, choose Spectrum Mobile.
A couple of top 10 teams highlight our full day of Saturday College Hoops on ESPN and the ESPN app. 4 Eastern, Notre Dame comes into this one winners of the last 4. They'll be at Cameron Indoor to take on number 7 Duke, who've won 6 straight. Then number 9 Maryland sits atop the Big Ten. They'll square off against Michigan State, who's looking to turn things around after losing 3 in a row. Top 10 teams, Saturday College Hoops, ESPN and the ESPN app. Eric Rothman, Richie Schuler here with you at the Viejas Arena in San Diego, as San Diego State looking to remain the lone unbeaten team in the nation. Richie, so far, both of these teams are struggling, with New Mexico shooting 38% from the floor, San Diego State 25% from the floor, and they've combined to turn it over 9 times.
Yeah, and San Diego State's getting more shots because they have 6 offensive rebounds. They've also forced New Mexico into 6 turnovers. 8 of San Diego State's 10 points have been inside the paint, and this is scary for San Diego State. They were worried that New Mexico would get hot from behind the arc. They're 3 of 6 right now from threes.
Vontae Hendricks gets it done this time. Meanwhile, on the other side, San Diego State is 0 for 6 from 3. Whistle away from the ball. It's been a chippy game so far. These referees, Tony Padilla, Chris Rassler, and Mike Reed, trying to keep a hold of things. Tempers running high in a sold-out Viejas arena. There's a personal foul called on Vontae Hendricks, who's the transfer from Utah, who just hit that three. And he became eligible. He was a mid-season transfer last year. Became eligible on December 17th this year, so playing in just his 14th game with the Lobos. Mitchell trying to go baseline. Martin stays ahead of him and then swatted out of bounds. As flying in was Emmanuel Quach, the freshman from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Now you see, though, Mitchell, he got blocked, but you see how he kind of beasts his way into shooting high percentage shots. That shot was blocked. Great defense here as he tries to go and attack, and it's the help side that came across in Quach to block the shot. But the last couple of games, Matt Mitchell has scored 44 combined points on 14 of 20 from the field and 7 of 9 three-pointers. He's a guy that can go inside out, 42% from three, and really strong to the basket anytime he really wants to.
Fourth turnover of the game. It's the Aztecs, and Seiko stepped out of bounds. The Aztecs now just 2 of their last 13 from the floor. Lobos have found success from the three-point line. A jump stop and free throw line shot from Zane Martin. The redshirt junior misses. Malachi Flynn inside. What a move. Midair for Yanni Wetzel, the senior from Auckland, New Zealand.
What a phenomenal pass by Malachi Flynn. He averages almost 3.5 assists for every single turnover. He is such a terrific playmaker, and that's really what's been a surprise to the San Diego State coaching staff. They knew he could score. He did that at his previous school, at Washington State the first 2 years, but they didn't know how great of a playmaker he was. Look, he drew all that attention and just drops it down inside to Yanni Wetzel for 2.
Jordan Shackle called for the foul against the Aztecs. Malachi Flynn on the National Player of the Year watch list, the Wooden Award watch list, Bob Cousy Award watch list. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for Flynn this season. That three-point ball way off the mark. Vontae Hendricks had the hot hand and made the last one, missed that one badly from the corner. Jordan Shackle, quick trigger for Shackle. Top 25 in the nation in three-point percentage this season, and he ties it up at 15.
Now you're seeing the crowd get into it a little bit. A little more movement off the ball if you're New Mexico. They're a bit stagnant right now.
Keith McGee missed the three-pointer, but a foul underneath on Jordan Shackle. That will be Shackle's second personal, and he's arguing his case, but the ball will stay with the Lobos nearing the midway point here in the first half.
So if you look at New Mexico, sometimes they're taking these contested shots from the outside. They're not getting more than maybe one ball reversal. Like right now, the ball's on one side of the floor. Okay, that's a ball reversal. You need to get 2 or 3 of those to really get an effective shot. See, that's a hand in his face. A lot of people would say that's a bad shot, but he did make it. And again, that's exactly what San Diego State did not want. New Mexico getting hot from behind the arc.
The 4th three-point make for the Lobos. This time Zane Martin, who's coming off a stellar game in the win against Wyoming. 23 points on 10 of 13 shooting. But if the Lobos want to stay with the Aztecs, someone's got to get in front of Yanni Wetzel.
That's the exact same play, but instead of being Malachi Flynn passing inside to Wetzel, it's Trey Polium. And that's a great thing about San Diego State. They got 3 guys that can play point guard. They got 2 on the floor right now. Flynn and the man guarding the ball, Polium. And oftentimes KJ Fagan, when he's in the game, you got 3 guys that can run the point guard spot. So you got great playmakers on the floor at any given time.
12 of the 17 points for the Aztecs have come in the paint. And another turnover. Wetzel, the big man, running the floor. Manigault traveled. You can't even hear the whistle here in the Viejas Arena.
Yanni Wetzel. All he's doing is just cutting. Little slip screen, boom. Slammed it home. Previous possession, he got one as well, but then he gets the steal on one end, and the big man, 6'10", 240, taking it coast to coast for 2.
That was the 8th turnover on New Mexico as the Aztecs lead by 1, under 8.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Trey Pulliam, step back jumper off the mark. Wetzel on the floor, tried to swipe it up.
Gotta love to see a big man on the floor.
Wayne Martin had a 3 in his last shot for the Lobos. New Mexico 4 of 9 from long distance in this game. And a blocking foul as Vontae Hendricks was driving baseline, and the personal foul called on Malachi Flynn.
Well, this is what I love about San Diego State. This is a team that works on defense way more than they work on offense in practice. And you saw they were at a position as far as who was supposed to be guarding who. You had Corey Manigault at 6'9", down inside, posting up, and the 6'3" Trey Pulliam having to guard him. And he knows exactly how to play him. He just sits on his knees. He sits on his lap and makes him uncomfortable by a complete full frontal.
Ooh, complete full frontal.
That's right.
That was your previous job before basketball coach, right?
I like what you did there.
Final from Colorado State. Utah State, the Aggies defeating Colorado State 75-72. So that means if San Diego State wins here tonight at home against New Mexico, they would be the outright Mountain West regular season champions, and they would be adding another Mountain West Conference championship banner to this arena. It would be their 12th as a program.
That's incredible, isn't it? And that combines regular season, that includes tournament. Now, Brian Dutcher has been a part of all of those, a winning pedigree. And he's continuing to keep that winning pedigree even as a head coach.
A clock malfunction that has sent both of these teams to the bench.
Well, that can be a momentum killer for you. And looks like they're getting right back to it.
Well, it's a momentum killer for us, too. We're going to step aside. The Aztecs up by 1 here at home.
Oh, excuse me. Do you know if you were a T-Mobile customer, you could have a free taco?
So you want me to pick my service based on free tacos? Seems wrong.
Taco. Drop the S there. It's just the 1. Well, I can also give you our lowest price if you get a whole bunch of lines.
Seems wrong, too.
You know what they say, 2 wrongs make a right.
Yeah, that's not how it goes.
Is it 3 wrongs? Because I can do more wrongs. 3 wrongs make a right.
T-Mobile is selling it.
Did you want the free socks?
Don't buy it. For service with no gimmicks, choose Spectrum Mobile.
Crossover is back for the 7th year tomorrow and Thursday on ESPN and the ESPN app. Once again, we're pairing a college analyst with an NBA analyst for twice the basketball breakdown. Doris Burke and LaFonso Ellis have Bucks Pacers. Jeff Van Gundy, Jay Billis do Lakers Nuggets. Doris Burke is back the next night. Boy, she's busy. Memphis and Cincinnati along with Bryce Drew. And then Mark Jackson teams up with Bill Walton for Colorado and Oregon. And speaking of Bill Walton, look who is here. As if he doesn't get enough college basketball in his life.
No kidding. Is he here to take my job?
I hope so.
Hey, Bill, over here, would you like to take the rest of the game?
He could take both of our jobs if he wants. Bill Walton, 10-year NBA career, the beautiful head of hair, the beard, and enjoying a San Diego State game. And why not? If you got the day off, go watch the last undefeated team in the nation. Start prepping for March if you're Bill.
And one of the best defensive teams in the country. And this is why you have such a great defensive team when your offense is struggling. San Diego State shooting only 36% from the field, 1 of 7, 14% from 3, but they're getting 14 of their 19 points down inside the paint. So they're getting inside the paint and scoring. They're struggling from the outside. And overall, their offense is just struggling altogether. Defense wins the games.
They've already forced 8 turnovers on New Mexico, under 8 on the shot clock now for the Lobos. Under 8 minutes to go in the opening half. McQuatch, Malawatch, 3 to shoot, fading away from the elbow. McQuatch, Malawatch, up to 7 points, a perfect 3 of 3 from the floor. These two teams met just a couple weeks ago in Albuquerque as Malachi Flynn misses the 3. Good tip out by Yanni Wetzel, gives Flynn another crack at it, and this time he doesn't miss.
I think I say this every game, but that's the best three-point shot in basketball off of an offensive rebound. Defense isn't set. They're trying to spray out to find a new man to guard. usually have wide open players with their feet set.
In the last meeting a couple weeks ago, San Diego State winners 85-57 in a game that New Mexico never led. However, Vance Jackson and Jaquan Lyle were not in that game. A different look here from the Lobos, and already we see the depth that they didn't have in that first meeting as Corey Manigault, the lay-in alley-oop.
Well, you're seeing New Mexico do a really good job of spreading the floor. And when they had moved the ball around the perimeter, they're looking to attack. They're looking to drive middle. They're looking to get inside the paint to try to score inside the paint or kick out for outside shots. In that case, they just dumped it up or threw it up for a little alley-oop.
Malachi Flynn in the last possession had just the second three-pointer to go down for the Aztecs in 9 attempts. He missed the short bunny, got his rebound, and then Adam Seiko stepped out of bounds. This is the second time that's happened to him in this game.
You know, and I think a lot of teams are having trouble with that. It's not just Adam Seiko, but around the country with the extended three-point line this year. And so you play your whole life with a three-pointer where it's at, and then you move it over a foot further back. And now you have to get used to the little bit of space you have between the three-pointer and the sideline, in the corner especially. And that's hard for a lot of guys. And after playing a lifetime one way, they're still trying to adapt to it.
Fifth turnover on the Aztecs. 8 for the Lobos. They go inside to Jaquan Lyle, who was injured for a couple games, suspended for a couple games, and now back in the lineup for his second straight game. Wanted a foul there, didn't get it. Mitchell nearly carried, nearly lost the ball. No whistle. Yanni Wetzel for three. How about it? 17th time this year that Wetzel has landed in double figures of scoring. He's already up to 12 points on the game. A perfect 5 of 5 from the floor. Nearly another turnover on the Lobos. 10 to shoot. And an alley-oop from Malawach to Manigault on the broken play.
I mean, two of the last 4 possessions, they've thrown a little alley-oop to Manigault. One he laid in, one he dunked. That seems to be working better. But you're seeing Jaquan Lyle, he's trying to post up down inside against Malachi Flynn. I think the idea there might be, let's try to see if we can get Flynn in foul trouble. But at the same time, Jaquan Lyle not having a ton of success with that, especially the last couple of possessions.
Flynn just one personal foul so far. Yanni Wetzel backing his way in on the baseline. Double team, threw it away. Keith McGee out with it, and McGee goes coast to coast, the redshirt junior from Rochester, New York.
I mean, we are seeing signs of how New Mexico played earlier in the season, where they had a full complement of players. They were pushing the basketball. I mean, New Mexico has scored 90 points 7 times this year, and they're actually just coming off a game against Wyoming where they dropped 97. So they have dudes that can score.
And now Corey Manigault picks up his 3rd foul. We see the alley-oop to Manigault, who now, unfortunately for the Lobos, Richie, has to go to the bench with that 3rd foul. And then McGee turning the ball over and turning it into points.
That's right. Yanni Wetzel got caught with the old jump pass. Anytime you jump in the air and you have nowhere to go with it, oftentimes it ends up being a turnover as he tries to back his way down. I like that play right there inside to Mitchell. Kind of a high-low action, right? And Matt Mitchell has been starting ever since Nathan Menza went out of the lineup, a guy that started for 2 years and then unselfishly came off the bench as a junior and back in the lineup with Menza. Gets sick with the respiratory issues.
Offensive rebound after the Zane Martin miss. Martin gets another crack at it and takes it right to the rack.
Boy, they look dangerous right now. New Mexico. I mean, they've got guys that are just, they look rested. It's crazy because they just played on Saturday, both these teams, and they had to travel up here to San Diego. They look rested. They look athletic. They look like they're having fun out there in the court.
48% from the floor the Lobos are shooting. Fagan missing the fadeaway. We've already had 6 lead changes and 5 ties in this game. A back and forth first half between the Lobos and the Aztecs. As New Mexico giving San Diego State a run for their money. They want to take that O from the Aztecs, the 24-0, as Vance Jackson airballs the 3 out of bounds and sends us to a timeout on the floor.
We're seeing New Mexico do a little bit of everything. Zane Martin not picked up, down the middle, flushes it home. New Mexico looking good here at San Diego State.
My whole life, people have said like mean and horrible things about me. July 27th, 1996.
Get down!
I acted.
Eric Rudolph, he's a serial bomber.
We lost him.
Eric Rudolph needs our help.
As long as we're fighting each other, we're not stopping him, and that blood will be on us.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by T-Mobile. The first and only nationwide 5G network is here. New Mexico on top of number 4 and undefeated San Diego State 28-27. 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Coming up on the E-Trade halftime report with Kevin Nagandi and Sean Farnham. We'll take you around the country. How about a thriller in the Big Ten, then down to the SEC. And Dayton, the Flyers continuing to roll, Richie.
Well, both you and I know a little bit something about Dayton Flyers, don't we?
I also know about flying as my vertical leap. Oh, one of the best jumpers.
I see what you did there.
Southeast Ohio history.
You know, both being from Ohio, Dayton right there, the Flyers.
Quite a squad, the A-10 this year. Brian Dutcher and his San Diego State Aztecs. So far, Richie, the Lobos giving them all they can handle.
They are, and they've held San Diego State's team. Only 4 guys have scored off that squad. Now, New Mexico has not doing a good job of protecting their paint, but they're doing a great job on offense of knocking down some outside shots, 4 threes, and just here as of late, they have had some real athletic moves to the basket, really getting to the paint at will. This is where you really miss Nathan Menza, who's been out with those respiratory issues.
Fagan is now the 5th player to score for San Diego State, and the lead back to the Aztecs. First bucket of the game for KJ Fagan, a guy who's got over 1,300 career points, closer to 1,400 now with that make. Missed three-pointer for the Lobos. They're 4 of 11 from that distance. Wetzel has been perfect. 5 of 5, nearly threw it away. Found Flynn. Flynn took a body, no whistle, and one for Matt Mitchell on the second effort.
You see how strong and physical he is. He's a great rebounder. He lost about 25 pounds in the offseason after a minor knee injury, and it's given him a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more leg lift on his shot, the ability to bang down inside. He's much quicker than he was over the past 2 years. Does a really good job. He's a little more crafty with the basketball now. It has really paid off, him shedding those pounds.
4 straight games for Mitchell with 10 points or more. He's got 11 points on 5 of 7 shooting in this one, as well as 4 rebounds. Comes Zane Martin, nearly threw it away. New Mexico has been careless with the basketball, 8 turnovers in this first half. Lyle threw it away, turnover number 9.
You see what New Mexico's doing. I mean, they're going 4 around 1. They're not doing anything prolific. They're making some passes, a little bit of a guard-wing exchange, but they're just trying to spread the floor and make you stop them from driving. And, of course, they're looking to hit those outside shots. Now, New Mexico's not a great three-point shooting team, not a bad one either, right about 34% on the season. But they have made some key threes tonight.
Fagan just had a 3 for San Diego State. He feeds it inside to Wetzel. Couldn't get help from the rim. Zane Martin with 1:45 to go here in the first, missing the left-handed layup after he bowled over Malachi Flynn.
It seems like San Diego State is pretty patient with the basketball. They've had some turnovers they'd like to get back, but they are not forcing the ball. They're just playing their style of play. And Matt Mitchell a little bit too strong. Are they saying that he used his forearm to displace his defender? I think they're going to have to take him out of the basketball game. Watch his left arm. So a little nudge with his left shoulder, and the officials are calling a player control foul. It's going to take him out for the half.
Second personal on Mitchell. So he goes to the bench with those 11 points. Brian Dutcher not happy. Under a minute and a half to go here in the first. New Mexico, a completely different story from the 2 weeks since the last time these two teams played. An offensive rebound on the air ball for Vontae Hendricks.
It is difficult to rebound an air ball because you expect it to hit the rim and make a play. But it just looked way too easy for New Mexico there. And New Mexico's had 3 or 4 air balls behind the arc.
And now Malachi Flynn turns it over. Vance Jackson, a hell ball.
What a play.
A guac, a rope, getting back and tying up Jackson. Possession arrow in favor of San Diego State.
What a play. Defensively going the other way. I thought this was a good pass by Hendricks, but watch the defense come from behind. A guac, a rope. What a defender. The 7-foot wingspan on the 6'6" player tying up the basketball. And again, another reason why this team is so good on the defensive end of the floor.
Another turnover on New Mexico. The Aztecs up by 3.
My whole life, people have said like mean and horrible things about me. Of July 27th, 1996.
Get down!
I acted.
Eric Rudolph, he's a serial bomber.
We lost him.
Eric Rudolph needs our help.
As long as we're fighting each other, we're not stopping him, and that blood will be on us.
San Diego State, number 4 in the nation for the 4th straight week. They're undefeated at 24-0. These 2 teams met 2 weeks ago, and they steamrolled New Mexico 85-57. It's the only home loss that the Lobos have taken this year. But in that game, Jaquan Lyle and Vance Jackson were both out. The Lobos are already without 2 of their stars, Carlton Bragg and J.J. Caldwell, who were kicked off the team earlier this year. And right now we're seeing, Richie, this Lobos team who's 17-8, who at one point was 15-2, and really had their season, the rug pulled out from under them with the dismissal of Bragg and Caldwell, the suspension and injury to Lyle, the injury to Vance Jackson. They're looking for one moment in the sun here and a huge upset if they can get it.
But they're playing with some renewed energy. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they look excited. They had that 3-game losing streak. Played against Wyoming, had that big win on Saturday against them at home, and now they're just playing like they're having fun again. You know, they finally have their bearings underneath them. They're without those other 2 starters. They're not coming back, and they're used to that now.
A couple of top 10 teams highlight our full day of Saturday college hoops on ESPN and the ESPN app. At 4 Eastern, Notre Dame, who has won 4 of their last 5. They lost in overtime today to Virginia. They'll be at Cameron Indoor to take on number 7 Duke. And then number 9 Maryland sits atop the Big Ten, and they'll take on Michigan State. That game slated to start at 6 Eastern. Saturday prime time presented by H&R Block.
And what a thrilling end. Virginia beating Notre Dame in overtime by a point. Virginia holding Notre Dame to 2 points in the entire overtime period. Now they only scored 3, but they came out with the win.
Vontae Hendricks pulls New Mexico within 2.
And we talked about that game a couple of weeks ago when they played down at the pit. New Mexico had only hit 4 threes in that game. They've already surpassed that in the first half.
Lobos were 4 of 23 at home against San Diego State. They're 5 of 14 here tonight. Hendricks has 8 points. Final 7 seconds to go in the half. Malachi Flynn pulls up for 3. No, and a chance for the Lobos. Final second. Jaquan Lyle nearly gets it to go from half court. And how about this ball game we have here in San Diego? A sold-out crowd, not what they had expected.
Not what they expected. San Diego State, the players are playing for an outright Mountain West regular season championship, but New Mexico giving them everything they can handle in the first half.
San Diego State trying to cling to that undefeated record. They're up by 2 at the half, but New Mexico not going away. They're 5 of 14 from 3. We've got a battle, some mischief in the Mountain West. Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive here in San Diego, California, at the Viejas Arena. The Aztecs, number 4 in the nation, and the lone undefeated squad in college basketball, is 35-33 lead over visiting New Mexico. And a lot on the line here tonight for San Diego State. You take a look at the preliminary rankings for the NCAA tournament. Right now, they're the last 1 seed. They're number 4 in the country, despite being undefeated. And they also have the longest active winning streak in the nation as well. On top of that, a win here tonight would clinch the outright Mountain West regular season championship. And right now, New Mexico trying to spoil all that, Richie.
They are, and New Mexico is the lowest ranked team left on San Diego State's schedule. And Joe Lunardi said it would take a bad loss for this unbeaten San Diego State team to lose its number 1 seed tonight against New Mexico. Would be that bad loss. So the New Mexico win here could play spoiler in the NCAA tournament projections.
These two teams met a couple weeks ago. San Diego State on the road winning 85-57. A new look Lobos squad coming out here on the road in a sold-out Viejas Arena. A held ball possession arrow in favor of San Diego State to start off the second half. Eric Rothman, Richie Schuler here with you. Richie, for San Diego State on the offensive end, 25 of their 35 points in the first half came between Yanni Wetzel and Matt Mitchell. Not much outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, it had 18 points in the paint. That's got to be something New Mexico gets better at. But I feel like San Diego State is getting good shots. Sometimes you want them to pass up a good shot to try to get a great shot. And defensively, I think they've had a hard time with New Mexico's drives. Maybe a little bit too long of a closeout. Try to shorten that up and force players to not get inside the 3.
Mitchell was looking for more. Wetzel the offensive rebound. Malachi Flynn for 3. Back-to-back missed 3s to start the second half for San Diego State, who is now 4 of 15 from long range. Both of these teams in the first half pretty careless with the basketball. New Mexico turned it over 10 times. San Diego State turned it over 8 times.
A little bit sloppy. And I feel like with New Mexico, I think if they move the ball a little bit more from side to side, loosen up the defense, I think they're going to have some more higher efficient shots, which I thought was a key to the game in the beginning against this great defensive team. Try to get some more ball reversals. And you saw, by the way, in that first possession, New Mexico immediately went down inside to Jaquan Lau, who's being guarded by the guard, KJ Fagan, down inside.
Have to keep an eye on foul trouble now for Matt Mitchell, who picks up his 3rd foul. The second leading scorer in this game with 11 points for San Diego State. Manigault starts the second half for the Lobos, misses that shot there. He also has 3 fouls. Right now, those are the only 2 players in foul trouble. Mitchell going right at the rack, and nobody wanted to get in front of him.
He's like a steam engine train, and you gotta. I like the way Matt Mitchell stopped and spun, because that prevented the player control foul, which may have happened if he had kept going straight ahead. Did the little spin move, defense backed off. They didn't want the contact, and it was an easy layup for him.
He's got 13 today, now 2 points away from 1,000 in his career for the 6'6", 240-pound forward for the Aztecs. A lot of contact there for Zane Martin, who was able to muscle it up and in for New Mexico. Mid-range jumper and a couple of defensive lapses back-to-back for the Lobos, not coming out as aggressively as they were in that first half.
Yeah, Flynn has that effortless stroke. I mean, it looks beautiful. And I'm curious, is New Mexico going to keep going down inside the Lyle? There he is with the basketball there, but he has posted up quite a bit in this game for a point guard.
Watch Malawatch missing the 3 and a foul underneath. And loose ball against Vance Jackson and the Lobos. Possession will go to San Diego State as Jackson picks up his first personal.
And this New Mexico team, they had lost 3 straight games. And then this last game against Wyoming, 3 guys scored 20 or more. Martin, Manigault, and Jackson. And those 3 guys are critical to the success here on the road. I do believe San Diego State will shoot better here in the second half. I think they'll execute a little bit better. I think they're going to have the best half.
Working around to Mitchell. Pulls up, banks it off the glass and in. Now 1,000 career points for Matt Mitchell.
Give him an extra applause.
And Malachi Flynn with the steal. Fagan the other way. And a whistle before he could get to the rim. It'll be on Zane Martin.
The tide is starting to turn. Momentum here in the first few minutes of the half going to San Diego State. Good action right here. Martin gets stolen by Malachi Flynn, and then boom, going the other direction. In San Diego State, you're starting to see them push the ball more, playing with a little bit more confidence, coming out here in the second half with a better game plan.
Well, one thing they haven't done well is shoot the ball from 3, just 4 of 14. Their last 3 games, Richie, they've shot 47% from 3. Their 3 highest three-point make totals of the season. They made 14 twice, and then 15 in a game on the road in Albuquerque. And of course, as soon as I say that, Jordan Shackle screws up my stat.
Remember, Jordan Shackle left the game in foul trouble in the first half. He comes in the first 3 minutes of the second half, drills another three-pointer. See, I don't like that shot. It banked in. I don't like that shot. A step back, kind of fading away a little bit with a hand in your face. It went in, but I just don't think that's a high efficient shot.
Early in the shot clock too, but Jaquan Lyle and New Mexico will take the 3 points. Lyle's got 6 total. Back within 6 and quiets the crowd momentarily here at the Viejas Arena. I mentioned that mismatch that Mitchell has with darn near everybody in the Mountain West who tries to guard him.
3 seconds, I saw it coming. I was wondering if they would call that. Yanni Wetzel, when the ball went down inside to Matt Mitchell, Yanni Wetzel came from the opposite block and flashed to the elbow, and then he tried to get out of the paint on the opposite side, but his feet never left. I think he was in there a good 5-6 seconds before they finally called it. This gives New Mexico a chance to get down here and try to make a play and keep chipping away at this deficit they have.
New Mexico turns it right back over. The 13th turnover on the Lobos.
And here's a tie up here, and that went out of bounds, hit the referee, and goes the other way. Malachi Flynn will get him set up in offense. Always have 2 point guards on the floor, it seems, San Diego State. Very hard to scout when you don't know which guy's going to bring it up, which guy's going to be the off guard.
I'm talking to Coach Dutcher before the game, talking about the 3 different guards that he's confident in handling the ball up top as Wetzel is fouled. Just speaks to the depth in the backcourt for the Aztecs as they're up 44-38 early on here in the second half at home.
My whole life, people have said mean and horrible things about me. Look, July 27th, 1996.
Get down!
I acted.
Eric Rudolph, he's a serial bomber.
We lost him.
Eric Rudolph needs our help.
As long as we're fighting each other, we're not stopping him, and that blood will be on us.
Junior Matt Mitchell with exactly 1,000 career points. Got it tonight. You see the big man running the floor. Looks so effortless when he does. He can also handle the basketball, the spin move, the finish. There's a guy that shoots deep from 3-point range. He can also take 1-2 dribble, stop and pop, and knock it off the backboard. Matt Mitchell, such a versatile player for San Diego State.
What makes him such a tough mismatch?
Well, I think one thing is because of his size. He's 6'6", he's strong and stocky, but he's also quick and agile. I mean, he's developed that here in the offseason by losing about 20, 25 pounds. And not only that, he doesn't just force his way into high percentage shots inside the 3. He's shooting about 42% from outside the 3. So he's a player that's difficult to guard. You put a big man on him, he'll drive by you. You put a small guy on him, probably shoot over him. So there's so many different things he can do.
You heard that big ovation. That was for the announcement that Matt Mitchell had made 1,000 points in his career. Yanni Wetzel, the free throw line. It's been the Wetzel and Mitchell show so far for the Aztecs on the offensive end, combining for 30 points between the two.
And that's their 4 and 5 man. And New Mexico is much bigger in a lot of positions. And I thought that they would be a little bit better at defending the paint, New Mexico, tonight. But those 2 players have had their way down inside.
San Diego State undefeated on the year, 24-0. A win here tonight at home would secure the outright Mountain West regular season championship for them. Offensive rebound for Vontae Hendricks. Second chance opportunity for the Lobos. Manigault swatted away, stripped out of bounds. It will stay with the Aztecs, 13 on the shot clock.
I think it was smart of Manigault. You saw poise and patience when he caught that ball. He realized if he caught it and let go of it before he dropped to the floor, it probably would have been blocked or just been a missed shot. So he tried to go up for a higher percentage shot, and the ball was knocked out of bounds.
It was right underneath the rim, had nowhere to go, especially midair. They go back to Manigault. 8 points on 4 of 7 shooting for the Lobos. Jaquan Lyle backing his way inside the paint. Little touch shot, no. Matt Mitchell comes down with another rebound. That's his 6th.
They've really tried to give Lyle a lot of opportunities to score down inside. He has struggled to do so.
Malachi Flynn has the lip out 3. He's been frustrated from the three-point line tonight, just 1 of 8. He's had a whole lot of wide open shots from that distance. Coming into this game, a 38% three-point shooter on the season.
It's good action by New Mexico. See them moving the ball around. San Diego State doing a good job of keeping it outside the 3.
High post, Vance Jackson faces up. Good hands, Matt Mitchell got in the way. Popped ahead by Fagan. And a smart reset here as Mitchell hesitates, drives, jump stop. Fighting for his own rebound, and it's knocked out to Fagan for 3.
You wanted that to drop for KJ Fagan because he started the play by diving on the floor.
And another hustle play as Flynn got the steal, lost it right back as Vontae Hendricks cleans up the mess and gets 2 points, pulling New Mexico within 6.
They just keep at you. I mean, they throw waves at you. They're trying to defend full court at times. They see a loose ball. New Mexico's all over it.
Flynn goes left, finishes left, beating Keith McGee with that brilliant first step.
Malachi Flynn struggling from outside the 3, but he's finding other ways to make his team better. He's driving, he's making plays, he's setting up the offense.
Straightaway 3, not there for New Mexico. A quick possession for them. They've turned it over 15 times already in this game. San Diego State has turned it over 10 times. Nearly an 11th there as Flynn saves it.
Great shot fake. Most underused fundamental. That shot fake gets a lot of open shots.
And it leads to an open 3 for Jordan Shackle and a timeout from New Mexico.
Great ball movement, a wide open Jordan Shackle. 43%, top 25 in the nation from behind the arc.
This fight is a draw. Bring them all on.
Wilder vs. Fury 2 is live on Spectrum Pay-Per-View. Go online or call now to order.
The crossover is back tomorrow and Thursday on ESPN and the ESPN app. Once again, pairing college analysts and NBA analysts for twice the basketball breakdowns. Doris Burke and LaFonso Ellis have Bucks Pacers. Jeff Van Gundy and Jay Billis are together for Lakers Nuggets. And then Doris is back the next night for Memphis and Cincinnati with Bryce Drew. And Mark Jackson teams up with Bill Walton for Colorado and Oregon. That's at 9 Eastern. The crossover tomorrow and Thursday on ESPN and the ESPN app. Oh, Brian Dutcher, the San Diego State Aztecs, they were up by 2 at the half. It's getting a little hairy there, but they've started hitting shots. It's their largest lead of the game. They've made 2 3-pointers here in the opening 7 minutes of the second half, and that's really where their bread has been buttered over the last 3 games, Richie.
I mean, shooting from behind the arc. I mean, they're 37, 38% in conference play from behind the arc. And, you know, they're starting to come alive. Now, a lot of the reason they're coming alive is because 5 second-half turnovers already by New Mexico. So they're getting extra opportunities to score on the other end of the floor.
Wetzel and Mitchell leading the way for San Diego State with 31 points combined. 15 total turnovers for New Mexico as they feed Wetzel inside. Shackle on the baseline was fouled. He will go to the free throw line. His 9 points, all of them have come from behind the arc.
I love this player, Jordan Shackle. He's just a junior. And, you know, when he gets 10 or more points, he's kind of like the X Factor. They're 23-2 all time when he hits that benchmark. And the great thing about him, he's such a hard worker that coaches sometimes have to back him off. They say he overdoes it sometimes. And you'll find him in different places, trying to find places to shoot the basketball. They'll be in here at midnight trying to shoot, get extra shots, and sometimes they just have to pull him off a little bit because they don't want him to wear his legs out for this time of year.
He's a pure three-point shooter, 43% in the year. That's 24th in the nation, and tonight is the 16th time he's had multiple three-point makes in a game. Now in double figures scoring, the third player to do so for San Diego State. Shackles up to 11, extending the largest lead of the game, and now a foul for Trey Pulliam, who just came into the game for the Aztecs.
And you're really starting to see San Diego State pull away here in the second half. And to me, the best teams are the ones that make those halftime adjustments, and then they start to pull away gradually in the second half. And you see that in football, you see it in basketball, and you can name a bunch of other sports, but those teams that find the areas where they need to improve and they attack it in the second half are the ones that usually are victorious come March.
Malachi Flynn reeling in his 6th rebound. Trying to get out ahead for KJ Fagan. It's been a quiet night for Fagan, just 3 points. 1 rebound, 2 assists for him as Flynn pulls up inside the lane. Thought he was fouled, didn't get a whistle. Malawatch, beautiful. Found the streaking Fonte Hendricks on the baseline backdoor cut.
That's what it's all about offensively, okay? If you're not going to shoot the ball, drive the ball, get into the paint, draw defenders, find an open man, whether he's on the outside or a player like Hendricks that's just diving to the basket.
53-42, San Diego State has widened the gap here in the second half at home against New Mexico.
Oh, excuse me. Do you know if you were a T-Mobile customer, you could have a free taco?
So you want me to pick my service based on free tacos? Seems wrong.
Taco. Drop the S there. It's just the one. Well, I can also give you our lowest price if you get a whole bunch of lines.
Seems wrong too.
You know what they say, 2 wrongs make a right.
Yeah, that's not how it goes.
Is it 3 wrongs? Because I can do more wrongs. 3 wrongs make a right.
T-Mobile is selling it.
Did you want the free socks?
Don't buy it. For service with no gimmicks, choose Spectrum Mobile.
We're destined for greatness. This conference is going to be absolutely insane.
A Sonic Blockbuster season continues Saturday at 6 on ESPN.
Saturday prime time, Maryland and Michigan State, a jam-packed Big Ten leaderboard. Maryland and Michigan State only separated by 2 games in the loss column, 1 game in the win column in conference play. But this is a conference, Richie, that Joe Lunardi, at least at the moment, I believe, has 11 teams making the NCAA tournament.
That's insane, is it not?
Well, it's called the Big Ten, so.
But 11 teams might make the NCAA tournament.
That's right.
But no, it's awesome. I love to see it. And I don't know, who from there you would say surefire national championship candidate. But they have a lot of teams that are excellent basketball clubs. And, the Big Ten, certainly has a lot of talent and a lot of teams that are going to compete late in March.
So right now, New Mexico down by 9 here at the Viejas Arena in San Diego. Eric Rothman, Richie Schuler with you. San Diego State looking for the Mountain West regular season crown with a win here tonight and remain undefeated. They're currently 24-0. A foul on the floor will be against Yanni Wetzel. But this is a different vibe from New Mexico than we saw in the first half. It just seemed like coming out of the second half, they got punched in the mouth, and they haven't had that same fire that they had in that first half, not playing with that same intensity.
I would agree with you, and I don't know what that is. They've had a lot of disappointments over the last month or so. They've seemed to overcome it in their last game. They came here in the first half, firing away. But I think really it just comes down to San Diego State's playing great defense, and they're forcing turnovers. And that's given them better opportunities to score. And I think San Diego State has done a great job of adjusting to what New Mexico did in the first half, and now they're starting to take it away.
Foul underneath on the entry pass against San Diego State. It's KJ Fagan who's called for the foul. So aside from intensity, as we take a look at the foul on Fagan underneath, little forearm push on Manigault, aside from the intensity, systematically, what can New Mexico do in the last 11 minutes here to get back into this game?
Well, they were hitting some three-point shots in the first half, and that kind of gave them that early lead and then kept them in the game, and you haven't seen that here in the second. Great double team. This is the opportunity for them. See, they're getting some good looks like that. They're not converting on those shots. They did a fair job of getting inside the paint to score as well. You also saw them, when they forced a turnover or got a long rebound, they pushed the basketball. You're right. I'm not seeing that same fire from New Mexico right now, but you don't just blame the Lobos for that. What you do is you give credit to the Aztecs. for taking those things away.
So plenty of time for both teams. Under 11 minutes to go. The offensive rebound by Malawach led to a foul on Trey Pulliam. And a reset here for the Lobos. Jaquan Lyle pulls up for three. Hoping to get a foul. He's slipping all over the place, trying to get back on defense. Adam Seiko, he traveled. Boy, Seiko has struggled with those corner threes in this game. He stepped out of bounds twice and now a travel.
So it's New Mexico 1 of 5 from 3 here in the second half, and we've seen some forced threes. The previous shot was a forced 3. He picked up his pivot foot there, huh? Sure did. And the only 3 that they've made here in the second half, New Mexico, was that off-balance banked three-pointer.
30 feet away by
didn't look
Jaquan Lyle.
Yeah, early in the shot clock. Contested.
Malawach with his left hand too strong. Good take by Malawach, just couldn't finish. A rope into the game and right at the rim for San Diego State. He was too strong. Got his own offensive rebound and the putback.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of New Mexico players look at the bench in despair. They look frustrated. They look a little bit hopeless in some ways. And I don't know if they're frustrated at a particular teammate or just frustrated at everything.
Frustrated that these shots aren't going down. Zayden Martin's shot pops out. Martin fighting for the loose ball. Nearly had the turnover. Malachi Flynn corrals it for San Diego State.
Malachi Flynn, I mean, he's not scoring what he normally scores, 16 and a half a game. He's got 8 points. He's also got 7. And if that was considered a rebound right there, now he has 8 rebounds to go along with 3 assists and 4 steals. So Malachi Flynn still finding ways to make his team successful. In my opinion, Malachi Flynn's got to get serious consideration for first-team All-American. He's up for every national award. Wooden Award, Bob Cousy Point Guard Award, the National Player of the Year. And like I said earlier, he's averaging almost 3.5 assists to every turnover. Just not scoring the ball well tonight, but finding other ways to help his teammates compete.
A rope called for the foul. New Mexico is nearly 3 minutes without a point. They're just 4 of 18 from the floor here in the second half. And Richie talked about the frustration. It's frustrating when you're shooting just 22% from the floor. As you see, Manigault, who's on the bench. That's an easy bucket off the inbound. Jaquan Lyle got it, and KJ Fagan came up a little limp on the play and now walking very gingerly to the other side of the court. Referee Mike Reed calling for some training attention to Fagan. Fagan kind of shakes him off.
Yeah, he's playing good defense down inside. Oh, before the even contact, he grabbed his lower right leg, right about his knee.
He's not coming out of the game. So Fagan stays in there. He's averaged 18 points per game over his last 3 games. You see just tonight 3 points.
But one of the things that makes you a good team is being healthy. In San Diego State, outside of Nathan Menza, who's been out for 11, 12 games now, because of the respiratory issues, they have stayed healthy. And that has been a big part to their undefeated success thus far in the season.
As the Aztecs fans watching on TV collectively knock on wood. 3 on the shot clock. Yanni Wetzel. The hook in the lane for Yanni Wetzel.
You see how crafty he is inside. Not bad for a guy who took up basketball at 17.
Former tennis player. Had the opportunity to play professionally in that sport. His serve, Richie, topped out at 118 miles an hour as a teenager.
That's incredible.
He's made a pretty good basketball player as well. 18 points on 6 of 7 shooting.
When you think about the makeup of this team, Yanni Wetzel has transferred in as a grad transfer this year from Vanderbilt. He was on a team that didn't win an SEC game all of last year. And KJ Fagan, who we just saw grab his knee, he's fine. He's still playing. Transferred from Santa Clara. Had already scored, I think, 1,300 points, over 1,300 points when he came to this team. This man with the ball, Malachi Flynn, was at Washington State, had free reign of the offense, transferred here, and now making big plays. That's going to go in. That's going to go. I knew it. It looked pretty.
Well, why don't you just take both of our headsets, Richie? 16-point lead after the three-pointer from Malachi Flynn, the largest lead of the game for the undefeated San Diego State Aztecs. Jackson trying to respond, and Wetzel lost it out of bounds.
What a half so far for San Diego State. Beautiful. Look at that. Magic Johnson in the paint. Yanni Wetzel getting it done on the inside. And then Malachi Flynn hitting the three on the outside.
So, what's the plan?
You jump in there, the drought ends, and then the crops grow.
Okay, what if instead we just built something that would get the water from the river down to the fields? Like with tubes or something?
Well, everybody walked all the way up here, so...
Go on, get on with it!
In you go. No, you're right.
Eventually, somebody realizes there's a better way to do things. Like simple mobile plans with no contracts, guaranteed. It's a better way to mobile. It's Spectrum Mobile.
The 16-point lead for San Diego State, and no surprise, Richie, the three transfers you were talking about before the break, Wetzel, Mitchell, and Flynn, the three anchors of this Aztec squad, are the three leading scorers tonight in the game for San Diego State.
I mean, they're playing terrific basketball. They're experienced. They come in ready-made when they come in as recruits because they're transferring from somewhere else where they played well. You mix it in with a guy like Matt Mitchell, who's probably the most experienced player for the Aztecs. Speak of the devil.
Mitchell. Oh my goodness! Matt Mitchell just blew the roof off the Viejas Arena.
That is the best dunk I have seen this entire college basketball season. Wow!
Did he even take a dribble?
Oh my gosh! I didn't know he had it in him. That was unbelievable.
And one. Why not? Matt Mitchell, have yourself a day.
I am in disbelief, Eric. Watch this. He deserved it. He got the deflection and the steal, and just watch this finish. Oh, that's gross. That was disgusting how he cocked it behind his head and finished it. That's the best dunk I've seen all year. If that's not SportsCenter top 10, what is? Oh my goodness.
Drop the mic and go home after that.
We even got Bill Walton to laugh on that. Is Bill Walton loving him here in the stands as a fan?
Mitchell's got 20. Another missed three-pointer for New Mexico. They're 1 of 9 here in the second half from 3.
I mean, look at Mitchell. He gets the steal, he gets the dunk, he gets the layup. He gets the rebound, and now he's bringing the ball up the floor. Tell me he's not a playmaker. Tell me he can't do everything on the basketball court. And on cue, I was just talking about him, and he made that slam happen.
McGee. New Mexico just can't buy a bucket here in the second half. Down to 20% from the floor in the second, 5 of 25. Shackle pulls the trigger. I don't think he had a good grip on that ball. It was falling off of his hand as he shot it.
This is 3 games now. Matt Mitchell has dropped 56 points on 9 of 13 from the field. He's got 20 tonight, and he hasn't even hit a three-pointer. He's a 42% three-point shooter. But again, we talk about his versatility and his ability to score in different ways.
And now Malachi Flynn to the rack. A completely different second half for this Aztecs team. Still can't get over that Mitchell dunk.
This disbelief. I don't get overly excited about dunks, but there was something special about that. The steal, the in the lane, cocked it behind his head. I didn't think he had a chance. Wow.
Manigault got bumped, trying to snap what's now a 14-2 run for San Diego State. It's just been all San Diego State here in the second half. They shot 52% from the floor. They've forced 6 turnovers in the second half on New Mexico, 16 overall in the game. And the stifling defense of the Aztecs has held New Mexico to 5 of 26 from the floor and 1 of 12 from 3 here in the second half.
You talk about second half adjustments and then making things happen. Look how San Diego State's playing right now. If Brian Dutcher isn't a National Coach of the Year candidate, who is?
Corey Manigault's just been tossed from this game, his second technical foul. I believe both were for taunting. I know the first one in the first half was for taunting, and I can't tell if it was for arguing or for taunting. But regardless, Corey Manigault sent to the locker room early.
2 technicals in one game. We got to see what he did the second time.
Whatever he was doing, he was running away from the referee who called the technical.
Let's take a peek. Pay attention here. Take a peek. He must just be talking.
Yeah, he's looking at Mike Reed and saying something.
Just keep your mouth shut.
It's a shame for Manigault, who came off a career-high 28 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals in the last time out against Wyoming. He picked up the technical for taunting on a monster dunk early in the first half, and now arguing with the referee.
And it was silly because they had all the momentum on that monster dunk. It was they had like a 10-6 lead or something like that, and he couldn't stop himself from running his mouth. And then it happens a second time. You think the first time you're warned, right? Get the technical, don't do it again. You do it a second time in a game, makes no sense.
Mitchell, step back 3. Wetzel, the offensive rebound, double pumps up with the right, rips down another board, and they'll reset. Fagan hits the 3.
This team is having fun now. They are having fun. And this team didn't even get a vote in the preseason top 25 poll. Now they're 4th in the nation in both major polls.
And one, Vontae Hendricks. They go to the free throw line. San Diego State has outscored New Mexico 37-14 here in the second half.
But like I was saying earlier, wouldn't you think Brian Dutcher is a surefire National Coach of the Year candidate?
Absolutely.
I mean, think about it. He hasn't lost a game yet.
That's a pretty good resume to be considered for that award.
And people will say, oh, well, the Mountain West isn't as strong as some of the Power 5 leagues. Well, hey, look. They beat Creighton on a neutral court by 31 points. They beat Iowa on a neutral court by 10. They beat BYU on the road by 5. They beat Utah on a neutral court by 28. And then they beat Utah State on the road by 9.
Beat Utah State twice.
And Utah State was ranked for, I believe, that first time. So, yeah, they can win on the road, away from home. They have the best road record in the entire country. More neutral wins or road wins than anybody. And Brian Dutcher's doing it in his 3rd season.
Well, that road record is what's impressive because San Diego State is the only team in the Mountain West to have a conference road record above 500.
I mean, they have the #1 ranking in the net for 33 days now. That's a nation best.
Good backdoor cut on the baseline for Vontae Hendricks, the transfer from Utah. Mid-season transfer, became eligible December 17th. San Diego State, you look down for the final 4 games. They go on the road twice, and their next game at Boise State, and then the last game of the season at Nevada, and sandwiched in between those 2 games at home against UNLV and Colorado State.
Eric, I can't get over this Matt Mitchell dunk, and the beauty of it is he did it off a steal. Look at him cock it behind his head, and Matt Mitchell with the highlight of the year here at San Diego State.
My whole life, people have said like mean and horrible things about me. But July 27th, 1996.
Get down!
I acted.
Eric Rudolph, he's a serial bomber.
We lost him!
Eric Rudolph needs our help!
As long as we're fighting each other, we're not stopping him, and that blood will be on us.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Get slam dunk savings today. Visit progressive.com. And in part by One A Day. San Diego State, the runaway. 3:27 to go here in the second half of Viejas Arena in San Diego. And what a performance they've had here in the second half, not only offensively, defensively as well, and then dominating the boards, 23-14 here in the second half. Looking for their 25th straight win of the season. Take a look at their upcoming schedule. I mentioned Boise State on the road. Actually, that should say Boise State, not Utah State. UNLV, Colorado State at home, and then on the road to finish out against Nevada.
Those are 4 really good teams. Those are 4 teams right there that are going to challenge San Diego State, especially the ones on the road. Home records in this conference are astounding, and the home teams have done very, very good. But what you're seeing defensively here in the second half by San Diego State, 27%. They've held New Mexico to field goal wise in the second half. That's indicative of how they've been playing all season long. First half, their defense wasn't great. Second half, they've really turned it on, and they have taken advantage of a lot of mistakes New Mexico's made on the offensive end, but they've also forced them into making mistakes.
So if you look up and down that schedule, Richie, Boise State, UNLV, Colorado State, Nevada, any of those 4 teams stand out to you to give San Diego State a legitimate threat down the stretch here?
Well, I think Boise State is coming along. I think UNLV as well. I mean, you can talk about them all, but Utah State's the one that sticks out the most to me.
You're talking about in the Mountain West tournament.
In the Mountain West tournament. Is that what you were referring to?
Well, regardless whether it's the regular season or the Mountain West tournament, these teams so far in the Mountain West haven't given San Diego State much of a run.
I think Utah State is the team that's going to give the most difficult challenge to San Diego State, because I think they're built for that. Having Nimi Keita come back in January, and now come March having 2 months to get himself back into playing shape. He's a terrific NBA prospect, maybe the best NBA prospect in conference right now. You know, he has been a force on both ends of the floor, and you have the reigning player of the year. And so, you know, you have some players on that team, a team that won a championship a year ago, that I really feel are going to be really good against San Diego State come tournament time.
A couple of top 10 teams highlight our full day of Saturday College Hoops right here on ESPN. 4 Eastern, Notre Dame comes into the game on Saturday. They've won 4 of 5 despite their loss today against Virginia. Taking on Duke, they've won 6 straight. Then number 9, Maryland sits atop the Big Ten. At least for now, they'll take on Michigan State, who's looking to turn things around after 3 losses in a row.
I'm impressed with the state of basketball on the West Coast. 2 of your top 4 ranked teams come from the West Coast, Gonzaga, San Diego State.
Another excellent find is Yanni Wetzel.
But it doesn't even appear that the defense is making an effort at this stage in the game.
Wetzel's up to 20.